Why, hello everybody, welcome. My name is Rubydung. Welcome to today's episode. In today's episode, as you can see, I'm over here at the main base. This is now the second, technically third time I'm having to film this episode because recording programs. I lost all the audio because recording software is apparently love deleting default devices, so that's always fun. But I'm going to have to redo the whole episode here. So what I'm going to be doing primarily here is probably showing you off what I did in today's episode, along with a little bit of it, some extra stuff, because I don't want it to just be a recap. But let's start with some of the things that I have done. So I have done quite a few things around the base, so this is going to look quite drastic, because this is supposed to take up its whole own episode, and now I'm having to do a recap because of it, so that's fun. But you'll notice there is a water stream here. That is because I was planning on, in this episode, to get rid of all of the vertical surfaces that were being used in the space, primarily the ladders. Because there is so many ladders that were being used in this base. So, randomly through the base, you would just use large ladders that were going up different sections of buildings that I was using for construction, because I naturally needed to use ladders in order to access certain parts of the build. But that would be ugly and would also be extremely inconvenient, because that's not how I designed the space to be. So I had to go around this little winding path in order to get my whole way over to this one little ladder. So it wasn't very good. But now, as of the episode that sadly got lost, I did go through and put in different things. In which case, you'll notice that this is the old passive mob farm tube. I decided to completely redo the thing by breaking it and putting a water stream through it. So now, when I go up and through here, you might be wondering, oh, where on earth are you going? Why are you wanting to access the passive mob farm? There's nothing up there. It's just a broken farm. Well, you can see I'm going above it. That is because I built a nice little platform area above where the passive mob farm area is going to be. So, where this is like another access way. It has its own little stilts, and I can glass over this and look into the old passive mob farm. Originally I was going to get rid of the passive mob farm because it wasn't useful at all. But I decided, you know what? Why not? If it's going to be a big old thing to get rid of it, why not display it instead? So I am putting some glass over it to create a nice little display thing, the same as how I have for the whole nether portal thing. So the pigment farm is on display. This is going to be on display as well. This isn't going to be too much of like a big display kind of thing, because in total, the areas that you're probably going to be accessing from here is probably nowhere, because there's no reason for me to go off that way, because that already has a roof, so I'm not going to extend that any higher. That way is my bed, in which case that's already topped and has a roof, so no reason to go that way. And over there is the main base, in which case that's the mob farm, in which case I have a different plan for that, because initially that's as high as I could build, so that couldn't get extended any more than already has been. But with the increase of the new height limit a little ways back, I am now capable of building that mob farm significantly higher. So that is something I'm probably going to do here at some point, but I'm not going to be doing this episode. So at some point I'm sure I'll do it, but I want to kind of increase that mob farm, because the more mob spaces you give, the more spaces you give, statistically, more will spawn. Because in total, if one half of the world's spawn is inside the farm, then statistically, one half of the mob should spawn in the farm. So the more and more of the spawning in this world I make inside the farm, the more the mobs are going to spawn inside that farm. So I do need to do that. But I also did some stuff on the actual nether portal area, in which case I went through this whole thing. I made a little bridge area in order to get over there. I put up some walls, and I put up all of the windows for this. So as I run down the length of it, you can see this whole place is nice and walled up, not completely, but I also have windows with possibly the worst view you can get. It's so bad. You can't see anything out these windows. You can hop up and get a way better view, but just standing down here, the view is absolutely atrocious. And not only on top of that, you're also getting absolutely spammed with portal noises while walking around this area, so not exactly the best place to be hanging out, but this is mainly just supposed to be a pass-through area. This isn't supposed to be like a nice little hangout area. This is supposed to just be a pass-through. But also for this bridge, it got fully completed along with having all of its windows put up. So I can now access the actual villager area. I also built a little thing there that I'm going to show off a little bit later. On top of that, I also got rid of some very big things in this world, in which case the main ladder here has been completely removed, along with, if I go onto this side, finally it's been completely stoppered up, so the main way to access this villager area now is more official than running across a roof, then climbing a ladder, then breaking through another roof and climbing down and up. So it was comically bad previously. I don't know how I dealt with it for like 50 episodes. It wasn't 50, I'm way over exaggerating, but it was a lot of episodes that I was dealing with that path. But another thing I also did going into this area, I was doing some actual grind work on the villagers, in which case I finally found something that I've been working to for a very, very long time. I haven't really mentioned it on camera until now, so can't exactly show how long I was doing this, but I was grinding my way through a whole bunch of white coats. Now you might be wondering, why was I grinding my way through white coats? Well, if I access them, they have some fairly useful ones. The most notable two are going to be, number one, bookshelves. I really need bookshelves in my base. So badly. So badly. The price is a little steep. 3 emeralds per bookshelf. Meaning that a full stack is going to get me, I believe that would be 21 bookshelves. A full stack of emeralds. Emeralds are not easy to get, but going through, you're also going to get glass. Not as useful, but still nice. Trading all the books. But the particular thing that I want to point out here is the final trade, which is paper for emeralds. This is the final trade of the villager, in which case, if none of you know what that means, final trades for villagers, whenever you trade with them, so, like, let me try to show you. So, whenever you would trade with a villager, I would put the emeralds in here, and I would trade for the item. In which case, it would slowly begin filtering through, and if after a certain amount of trades, the item gets locked, so I will not be able to trade for that item again. So, what will happen for me to trade for that item again? I have to trade for the next slot. So, for example, for this, if I run out of diamond picks, I have to buy a chainmail chest plate. I also believe there's a period in time in which case, if you slowly do the trades, then it's fine, but if you spam the trades, it X's out. So if you, like, only slowly go through and do it, it is perfectly fine, hence why my diamond pick one hasn't gotten maxed out yet, and I haven't had to trade for this, because I'm not trading for diamond picks at a rapid pace. I'm only trading for one every couple of days. So, that's perfectly fine. But, for this guy, whenever you go through all the way to the end, if this gets X'd out, there isn't a higher item to refresh it. So, what happens instead? Its own trade refreshes it. So, whenever you trade for paper for this guy, he refreshes his own trade. Meaning, you can trade infinite of the last item of a villager slot, which I spent a long time trying to get a white coat to have his last trade be a paper trade. Because that means I can trade infinite paper, which, if you don't know, in this base, if I go all the way over here, I have a paper farm in the form of, if I hop all the way over here, a sugarcane farm, which is automatic. Anytime I previously would go to access the villagers, I would have to collect the sugarcane. And by that point, I had collected over a double chest of sugarcane, and I wasn't spending any of it because the only use I had for sugarcane was making paper, then making those paper in the books, and then making bookshelves. But since then, they added leather, in which case it has become significantly harder to make bookshelves because of it. And I do have a leather farm, I do have one, but it's not at a quick enough pace that to keep up with the sugarcane, not remotely. So, what I did instead is, with all that sugarcane, I traded it all to that one guy to get quite a hefty sum of emeralds, which I was using every once in a while. But, in case you're curious, that little access way I have for the lower portion of the base, the one going through the old passive mob farm, I created a second one all the way back here. In which case, I can go all the way up and down this, and this is going through the back of this large grid system I made. Previously, there was no reason to go through the grid. Like, there literally was none. There was nothing here in the grid whatsoever, so it just kind of stayed here and collected dust. But now I have a water stream all the way in the back here, in which case I can float all the way up and get into the village area. It is quite slow, but it is a very accessible route, in which case I also, in order to get there, I do still move through the sugarcane area. So move all the way through here and back this way, and boom, I collect about a stack of sugarcane. It's about consistently a stack and a half, so I've been building up quite a bit of this as well, so it's probably time to trade that once again. But just to show you over here, I did get a hefty sum of emeralds, so I don't have to worry about the price of diamond picks anymore. So that is going to be very nice. Other small things I kind of did, I also redid my organization, so I added another 2 chests with the inclusion of the zombie pigman farm. I now have one just for gold, and I added an extra rotten flesh chest because my old one was overflowing. I don't need the rotten flesh for anything, but I'm holding on to it for, I don't know, keepsake. But that is the primary things I did for the sadly lost episode. So I need to go through the tree farm, and let's try and get the walls up for the actual zombie pigman farm. Not the upper section, the lower section, because I'm kind of wanting to have that be also a more presentable thing in this episode, since we're needing to get a little bit more done now. Okay, I've gone through and have put up the actual walling for around the pigman farm. So pick that all up. It's not all done yet, still have to put in the windows, but the actual main wall here is mostly done. I just have to actually connect the last little connector all the way up there. But for the most part, it's completely done here. I just need to go through, put in each of the little windows here. And then I need to go through here and put in the actual walling for each of the tunnels here. In which case, I also need to figure out what I'm wanting to have in each of these directions. In which case, can't put much here. In which case, I might have to put something, instead of going up, goes down. Because I either need to find something really small here that fits within all this, because we have a bit of a pillar problem, and also the sugarcane farms mainly here. We have 1,000 pillars that are blocking our way. This is a big old, problematic thing. For example, what I did for the cow farm, it is a very small farm. Just go all the way in here, and we just have this small little room. In which case, even then, that's jutting out farther than what I can give for the other area on the opposing side, because over here, doing a quick little jaunt around back over here, if I go that way, we're immediately running into way too many pillars. So I need to rededicate a little bit of the space to something significantly smaller. So my choices are something very small, something that goes a little ways up, can't go too high though, because there's a cap right there, or something that goes down, in which case I can go down a little ways, in which case I don't believe this would land in the actual mob farm. It might, I think it would actually. So if I go down far enough, I might wind up into the original mob farm, so I'm going to be a little careful there. But I wouldn't mind actually having an official connect up to that, because there just isn't one in this world. I'm going to grab some shears so I can actually shear these sheep. But that is going to actually be the main walls for this area mostly done. I just need to do a little bit up there, and I want to put in the windows. So probably going to be doing that here in a little bit. Need to actually move over some more glass for that, so not exactly going to be a very quick thing that I can just do. But I also need to get some more wood here. I ran very low on my wood supply. Yeah, I have none left in my inventory, and yikes, yeah. This chest used to be overflowing with wood, and then I did all today's projects, and now it's entirely empty. Well, not entirely, so I'm probably going to have to be grinding off some more of that between episodes like I always do, so that's going to be fun. Where was I? Oh, I was grabbing shears, that's right. Let me just make some. It's going to be a little bit quicker. But I need to go ahead and... Okay, there's no iron there, sadly. I also need to begin enchanting some picks here soon, because I want to work on the large dig. So, probably going to wind up actually enchanting here in just a second. But either way, let me go shear up these sheeps here very quickly. Also, just to show you guys what I was talking about with the white coat, I might as well show this off a little bit. But I can stand here, wait for the green stars, go back in, throw another stack in, trade, go back, wait for the green stars, then come back in, go all the way back, put some paper in, wait for the green stars, and then come back. And I can just keep doing that forever. So... because I spent so long trying to get this paper trade, that's why I did it, because I build up paper absurdly quickly. So, this is kind of why I spent so much time doing that. So I'm going to be able to get a lot of emeralds. Already got enough for a diamond pick, so that is very nice. By the end of this, I'm probably going to have enough to fill. Like, I think with the amount of emeralds I already have, I can probably fill a double chest with diamond picks, so... that's going to be very nice to have, just in the long run. That's just very nice. But either way, I also want to trade up some other things I got, because I did shear up the sheep. You get a lot of wool from that farm, a surprising amount, especially if you let it build up. So that's a nice little thing, as long as you keep an eye on it. But either way, I also need to get my diamond pick for the grind drill here quick. Hence why I'm going to show this off real quick, because I'm just getting emeralds for that. But you don't need to see all this paper trading. I think the amount you're seeing here should show how much you can really do with this. As long as I keep going back and forth here, it should be fine and it won't lock out, I believe. I'm unsure if I can just sit here in the menu and do that. I'm not willing to risk it. Because in the event that does fail, then all that time I spent has gone to waste. But I know this works because I have traded over a double chest of paper with this guy already. So, it should be fine. Either way, I'm going to go back to grind to get some more picks done, because I really do need some more picks done. But anyways, guys, that's probably going to be doing it for today's episode. I just got myself some 30 levels, as you can see here. So probably going to go up and enchant a pick very soon, but I want to get a little extra levels, since I'm going to be just kind of grinding here away, so it doesn't really hurt to get extra levels. I'm used to getting 50 levels at this point, in which case... XP took so much more to get than how much we get now, so not really that much of a problem. But that's going to be doing it for today's episode. I greatly apologize for the audio problem. I got it solved. I hate it every time this happens. This is about the second time it's happened, and I hated it last time, and it happened this time again, so... I try to keep a good eye on those types of things, but it just kind of slipped by me in today's episode, sadly. But, regardless, that, what happens can't really change what happened in today's episode, so, kind of have to live with it. But, did make a whole bunch of forward progress, have a whole new section to the main base now. Basically, like, the amount that I added onto the main base alone in today and last episode is astonishing. The last week of progress, today's episode and last episode, has been absolutely amazing, particularly today's episode. Was doing so much. I can already see how much I'm going to be able to be using the new sections of the base. I have so many ideas for it. I can't wait to use precisely none of them, as I always do with my bases. I always love also how I always wind up defaulting back on working on this base. I have so many ideas with so many other bases, but I always wind up working back on this base. I guess I just want to work on this base. It is my first base, and I kind of is the one that I enjoy the most. It has the biggest legacy to it, I guess. But either way, that's not going to be changing too much in today's episode. So I really do hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope to see you guys in the next one. If you guys have any ideas of things you should want to see me work on, any particular sections in the world, I have a whole ton of projects that are happening in this world. So if you guys have any particular interest in one of them, I always like to hear your ideas. Or if you have any ideas of your own you want to see implemented in here, then I'm always open to hear them. But regardless, that's going to be doing it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. That's going to be it for today's episode. See ya. Bye.